We're the last of the cowboys, the giddy up gone boys. 18 wheels on the concrete, it's a slow and dying breed, rolling like Jesse James, a modern day outlaw gang. If you're out here riding with me, come on back and make some noise. We're the last of the cowboys. Saddle up, boys.
It's the second day of April, and cruising along here in the fine state of Mississippi. Now, I've been riding along with you guys for a day. This is day 2 of you guys heading out to Texas. And, you know, we can't really hide who you are, and I'm going to start off and hand it off to you. Truck number 1, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, tell me your name and what you do for the company.
All right, my name is Tony Fripp, and I am a transport driver for NASCAR, and I actually drive the NASCAR Productions hauler, which is parked outside the TV compound. We assist with putting up the caution lights and pit in and pit out lights around the racetrack. We also help with minor inspections on race cars, as far as helping them with qualifying inspection and stuff like that.
You certainly don't show up at the race, park the truck, and sit back with a cold beer in your hand there, right?
No, definitely not.
There's 4 trucks in the convoy, and there's another gentleman behind us. If you got your ears on back there, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and what you do for the company?
My name is David Kahn. I drive the transport hauler that is responsible for the pit road officiating now, where the officials can watch pit road from the trailer instead of having to be across the wall for safety reasons. And I pretty much help Anthony. I park in the compound. We help each other do our lights every week. Whoever works for the week helps with the qualifying, and I help get this truck to each and every racetrack.
All right, copy that. Now, I'm going to backtrack a little bit. Tony, how long have you been working for the company?
I've been working with the company for 11 years. This is my 11th season.
I've heard folks call you by the name Decon. How long have you been working for the company?
This is my 16th year with NASCAR.
Now, Tony, how did you find yourself working for NASCAR? I mean, certainly you didn't open the want ads and seen that NASCAR is hiring for a driver. How'd that come about?
All right, I used to drive for U.S. Express, pulling their Walmart dedicated fleet out of Hope Mills, North Carolina. I was based out of Tunnel Hill, Georgia, but I was delivering in Southern Pines, North Carolina, where I lived at the time, and met a guy named Ricky Kyle. We got to talking. He asked me if I drove that hauler, actually that truck, I'm sorry, and we were talking and stuff, and basically he was just saying how NASCAR was looking for a driver, and I fit the mold, I guess. So he asked for a resume, I gave it to him, and it just took off from there.
Well, that seemed like a pretty no-stress situation there to get yourself into a new outfit.
Yeah, it was no stress. It was pretty welcoming.
And how about yourself there, Decon? How'd you find yourself working for the company?
A friend of my father was driving over here. He's retired now, and I talked to him. I told him if he ever needed any help with a West Coast, a long race, I could help him. I had my own truck at the time, and I could park it, and I'd be willing to go with him and help him, and he called me, I went with him, and from there I got hired full-time there at Temple.
Do you find yourself a lot of guys coming up to you and saying, hey, well, how do I get a job driving for NASCAR? Because it seems pretty prestigious. NASCAR isn't a small company. It's televised. All the races are televised. It's been around for many, many years. So do you find yourself where the guys coming up all the time wanting to know how to get involved with the company?
Yes, sir. Every day, especially out here driving when we stop, somebody will come up and, wow, with NASCAR, how do you get a job, or what's the number I can call, and just kind of tell them the way to go, and tell them hopefully one day we'll see them out here, and definitely when you're home, your friends and family are always asking about it.
So how many units are there that do similar things that you guys are doing?
Well, I think we have 16 total trucks and trailers, and that's not counting the K&N series, the Wheeling Modified series, and all those. I'm not sure exactly how many we have completely, but there are about 16 of us run out of Conover.
And that's where I met up with you guys over there in Conover. You got to see what the situation looks like there. Obviously impressive. The gentlemen that I normally feature here, they are owner-operators running custom equipment. But it's nice to be able to see the inner workings of what people know as I would call a pastime, a national pastime, racing. But to see the inner workings of how transport is still important, how hauling is still important as well.
So there's a lot that goes on that people don't see, that what it takes to put one of these races on. There's a lot ahead of us and a lot behind us that has to be done in order to put that product on TV come Friday, Saturday, and Sunday there.
Give me the quick elevator speech on what it takes. So right now we're headed to Texas Motor Speedway. What are you guys going to do once you get there, and how many days or hours does it take to get everything right?
It takes a couple of days for us to get everything set up. We'll normally get to the racetrack around Tuesday. We'll start setting up, and we'll have everything done by Thursday, sometimes Wednesday.
Now, you mentioned helping with qualifying. Explain what you do there.
Pretty much when the race cars go through qualifying inspection, we'll be the officials that's waiting. They'll call for certain cars to come out whenever they're ready to go through inspection, and we'll be the ones to actually send them out to line up for inspection, or if they fail inspection, they come back to the garage. We'll wait for them to get what they have done, to fix whatever issue was wrong, and send them back out to try and go through inspection again.
Well, now I'm going to switch some gears here. I was privileged enough to be on hand when the Mack Anthem was unveiled a couple of months ago, and I was able to even travel with the convoy of Mack Anthems from Pennsylvania down toward Atlanta. So it's a pretty impressive truck, especially the inside. I can say a number of things, but I'd like to hear how you guys came about having some in your fleet, and then give me your input on what you've experienced so far.
I never did really drive a Mack much till I came to work here at NASCAR, and this by far is pretty much the best one I've driven. It's really well thought out inside. Everything inside is organized, keeps you organized. The ride is unbelievable. Never thought I would ride in a truck that rode this well, to be honest with you. I really like driving it.
So how many years were you driving beforehand? You said you had your own truck, so what was that, and how many years have you been driving?
I've been driving 40 years, a little better than 40 years total. I started when I was 18. I'm 63 now, so I've driven pretty much all of them. It's just something about the way they've organized everything in this truck is really the ride of it. You can see everything, the gauges, the sleeper area. Everything is really convenient. Everything about it I like.
What about you, Tony?
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same boat as Deacon. He's been driving a little longer. I started in 2002, with a big company, so we had pretty much Freightliners, a couple Peterbilts. Came over here was when I first actually drove the first Mack, like Deacon. This Anthem right here, it's best riding truck I've ever driven. I'm amazed with the layout they have for the driver area as far as how it's set up. It's very driver friendly. All the gauges are not even arm's reach away, and that part I really love about them.
Well, that's pretty cool. How long have you guys had these trucks in service for?
We drove them for the first time to Daytona, which would be in February. Well, I think we went down like the 9th of February, the 10th. That was the first time we got to drive them.
What you guys said about the truck, both of you, it seemed almost too easy to hear what you're saying. Kind of like, wait a minute, either it's like that awesome, or you guys are reading from a script. And I didn't see any scripts or anything in there. I didn't see any prompting and anything else. But with that amount of experience behind the wheel and holding several steering wheels, it's pretty cool to hear what you guys think about the Anthem.
Yeah, there's no scripts in here. I'm being honest. This truck is that awesome.
I have to second that.
So tell me about the drivability, drivetrain, what you guys experience as far as being able to haul your freight down the road.
As far as drivability and all that, drivetrain, it has perfect power. I mean, we're not governed, so pretty much you can get around other trucks that are governed, which helps a lot. The power as far as pulling hills and stuff with our trailers being as heavy as they are, that's a plus to have. So I'm pretty much happy and sold on everything Mac has given us.
I have to agree with Anthony. A lot of people think we have lightweight trailers, which we do. There's a couple of our trailers that aren't that heavy, but I know the one I'm driving and the one that Anthony's pulling and the other one that travels with us, they're all pretty heavy. And as far as my experience, this truck here handles it really well. I mean, it'll maintain. If you have to hit a hill and brake before you get on it, it'll start picking up. I'm very pleased with it as far as the way it pulls.
That's pretty cool. But the burning question or the burning statement would be, but they're automatics. So what do you have to say about running a truck that's an automatic?
I've had this discussion over the years in the past. Me and my father, he's an old truck driver. We've talked about this automatics, and I was one of those that said I would never want to drive anything truck with an automatic. But I'm gonna tell you right now, there's nothing like it. The automatic, the truck knows what it needs. It knows what the transmission needs to do, and I believe you can take your concentration away from that and put it toward your driving a little better. I don't know, but I wouldn't have it any other way. Now I wouldn't want nothing with a gear shift in it.
I hear you. What do you say about that, Tony?
Yeah, I definitely agree with Decon. Like he said, coming out of 18-speed transmissions and shifting, especially when you hit traffic, this M drive, just having that automatic, stop and go traffic through Houston or LA or wherever, it's something I definitely will never, turn them over to. If they offer me automatic, I'll take it any day of the week.
Wow. But there's just something so cool about, shifting gears. And after the unveiling, I was able to go with the rest of the press crew there to the test track there in Pennsylvania, and I was able to go around the test track and a couple of the different Anthems with different equipment configurations. I was pretty impressed. And so when you mentioned the M drive, of course I couldn't experience that in a real world situation, but explain what the M drive does for you. Pretty
much the M drive is automatic. It shifts the gears for the proper shift times and everything. You can also control when you want to shift it. It's kind of like having a paddle shifter in a car. You can put in a manual mode, and it has a plus and minus, button you can push up and down on. You want to put a little more to it to pull a hill or something like that. But that's pretty much about it.
So it's pretty straightforward. There's no mystery to it. Well, so if you're pulling a grade or doing something and you want to maintain a gear, you still have control over things.
Yes, sir. Especially like if you're coming down a grade, or you can put in a manual and hold that gear while you downshift to whatever gear you needed to actually hold your speed coming down with your jakes on.
let's talk about some of the creature comforts. Again, it's a brand new truck, so we got to talk about it. It's not like it's been out for a year or more. So creature comforts, I was joking with one of the video crew. We're going to talk about that in just a second as well, but I was setting up a camera inside the cab, and there's just all these spaces to hide things, at least for me, to put, equipment and to put things out of the way. Very convenient. Of course, the truck wasn't built to suit camera operators and so forth and video production crews, but just give me your impression on it there, Deacon.
I'm a tall person. You can stand right up out of the seat. You can move around inside. You got your closet area that has a door shut. Every cabinet you can close. Everything in it is just very easily accessible for the driver. And then you can pull the curtains around. They've closed the side off to where it's so dark inside. You can pull your curtains around the windshield, and I mean, it's basically pretty dark in there as far as sleeping time. And then the curtain between the seats and the bunk, if you're running team, have a long magnet, which they've had those out for quite some time, but that really helps traveling from when you're running double there to keep it dark back there where you're at.
What's going on with all these extra cameras floating around?
Mack Trucks has sent a crew out, and they pretty much are following us, talking about life on the road, the road life, and they put extra cameras in our trucks to video us living life on the road as we travel from Convoy, North Carolina to Fort Worth, Texas. Pretty sure I'll speak for everybody. We're all excited and blessed and happy for the opportunity that was given to us. We're just enjoying the show.
It's always great to be able to see what actually happens out on the road with drivers. So I'm looking forward to seeing what comes together. The crew is doing a fabulous job. For me, being able to watch other video producers work, it's kind of fun. So I'm excited to see what's going to be unveiled and how you guys' work life is represented.
We appreciate all that they've done for us. Every one of them has been more than accommodating and really interested in what we have to say.
Deacon, what are some driving habits, some good driving habits that you can recommend to somebody that's fresh out of school that they should know?
Never take anything for granted. If you're not sure, the best thing to do is, with the size of your equipment, is to set the air brake, get out and go look if you're backing in. Make sure you get your rest. Make sure you're aware of what's going on. Don't leave your device sitting down. Don't be riding down the road with it in your hand. We have the convenience of it being built into the truck where we can connect ours to the radio, so you don't have to reach and talk and fumble. But just go with yourself. If you're tired, there's nothing wrong with being tired. If you're tired, then you stop and take you a break. I've always been a firm believer in that. Don't try to overdrive more than you can actually do, because that's when things happen for the bad part.
And what would you say about that, Tony?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing Deacon said. Definitely take your time. Don't let nobody rush you. Big equipment, and a lot of times you have, veteran truck drivers who are impatient, and don't realize that you haven't been backing the trailer up as long as we have or they have, and they want to rush you. Or just don't let nobody rush you. Just take your time, get out and look. That's the biggest thing. If you're not sure, get out and look.
Being at the races, is that something that you ever get bored of? Being at an exciting race, most people get excited. They're there. It's a lot of energy in the air. What is that like for you guys now?
Sometimes you take for granted what you do, and we get complacent. I do. I have to think, sit there and think about things and realize that I'm part of something that is everybody else. You got a lot of people that really, really like it and enjoy it. Yeah, there's a lot of exciting things going on. You're exactly right. And sometimes it's hard to keep that excitement when you got a lot to travel and go and things to do.
Do you have a favorite team or driver or anything of that nature there, Deacon?
I wouldn't say I have a favorite. I've always made it my point to pretty much like all of them. I probably have had favorites, and you want them to do well, but you want to see a good race without any controversy, and and everything go well. People do their best. A little bit of bumping and rubbing, you know. Good NASCAR racing is what I enjoy mainly.
I think it's done to rub off on you guys, because last night we were getting across the highway. You guys know how to move these trucks down the road. I kid you not. I filmed some convoys, and I've been, running along with guys for, a couple of years, but you guys can put this freight down the road like nobody's business. And I swear, you guys are back there like you're racing, bumping and rubbing back there.
I guess we ride with each other so much. We kind of, like Tony said earlier, we know, you kind of know how each other drives, what you're going to do, what you usually do. But you never, we can't take any of that for granted, obviously, because things change at a moment's notice out here. But we just try to get through what we got to do to get to where we got to be,
Tell me how many races on average per season, and about how many miles you guys cover to get this equipment from race to race.
I think we have 36 points races, and then we have the shootout race in Daytona, and then we have the All-Star race in Charlotte. If I'm right around 50 to 60,000 miles a year. Not very much, because these 3 TV trucks, they go straight to the racetrack, where our other trucks, they go back home, go back to North Carolina first, and then to the racetrack, so they put on more miles than we do.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Yeah, see, the 3 of us out here in the TV compound, we alternate weeks. You work 1 week, and then you fly home for 2 weeks, and then we take turns. So that, therefore, the other guys up there, that they go to and from every week, and he flies them home. Some of the races they get to fly home, but they basically stay there every week.
Well, that's nice, because I was thinking that you guys were on the road for the whole season, so that's great. You get the home time and everything else. And speaking of home and family and things of that nature, what are some of the things that your friend and family they say about your occupation, what you do?
A lot of my friends, they think it's great what I do. My family definitely thinks it's great what I do. I get teased a lot by how I don't have a real job, though, as far as, like you said, we come home a lot with the TV compound and stuff like that. But I know mostly my family is proud of me for, this job. I mean, I would just say everybody's all proud of me.
So you don't have a real job, that's what they say?
That's what they tell me. I don't have a real job, especially like my uncle. He's a truck driver. He always calls me a part-time driver or a flying truck driver.
Copy on the flying truck driver.
My wife tells me all the time that she's the only one that works in the family, because I don't have a real job. But other than that, yeah, the rest of it's pretty simple.
That's pretty cool. Guys, it was awesome being able to talk to you and have a few minutes to get some details. Of course, the video production crew have been working with you, so I appreciate them allowing me to slide in and get some airtime, so to speak.
Alrighty, it was a pleasure chatting with you too. Guess we'll see you in Fort Worth.
Everything you've been doing, Chris, it's a really cool ride you got.
Well, thank you, appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and get on down the road.